Historic Albany Foundation was founded in 1974 by a group of neighborhood folks and advocates in the Center Square area because the Arterial was supposed to come out of the Empire State Plaza and up Hudson Avenue and underneath Washington Park and out, probably out like Henry Johnson. Those neighborhoods and their advocates got together and said no more demolition. And that's with the founding of our organization, because they said enough was enough. And that's why you have that unique U-turn there now. The exit ramps that come off of the Empire State Plaza really cut off the south end from the rest of the city. There were neighborhoods that are very similar to the Center Square and Washington Park neighborhoods. They just continued down the hill. I think looking back, sort of the urban renewal days, I think everybody thought they were doing the right thing. I think they looked at highways as progress. And now I think we're looking back at, especially in Albany's case, we've cut ourselves off from our river. And if it wasn't for the Hudson River, Albany wouldn't be here. You know, the Hudson really was a catalyst for growth in the early days of Albany. You had access for transportation, the industry as well as the city grew, and then later you also had the Erie Canal hooking up with the Hudson. So I think we looked at cars and we looked at trucks and we looked at transportation as progress, and I don't think that's true anymore. And I think looking at reconnecting with our environment, reconnecting with our waterfront, and reconnecting with our, you know, beloved Hudson River is where we need to be going.
So, you know, Albany's an interesting community. Clearly there's tons of investment if you think of Albany, the whole city. But the downtown is kind of challenged. As are most downtowns. I'm not going to say that that's not unusual. I mean, it is usual. But certainly one of the features that hurts Albany is that the waterfront is not part of the city. And the Hudson's such a powerful, beautiful place. The notion of being able to use the water is not dissimilar from the notion of being near the water. If you can't even use it, being near it almost doesn't matter. I live in Schenectady in the Stockade, and that water for years was not the nicest water, but it got to a place that you're allowed to swim in it, you could eat out of it, and I was in the Stockade on a park by it, and all that goes together. That's what downtown Albany needs. So I often think about 787 from the perspective of being on the sidewalk. And on the sidewalk, you kind of scratch your head. It hasn't really redefined itself since the 60s and what Nelson and Rockefeller did to define it, right? Those were defining moments. But that redefining hasn't happened again. It's happening in Troy, it has happened in Saratoga, it's happening in Schenectady. It hasn't happened here yet, that chance to redefine. The Empire State Plaza is not going away. The center of government is not going away, and so the ability to make them functional in what is going to be an auto-centric world for quite some time still is important to figure out. And I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that unless we challenge ourselves to figure that out, we will end up rebuilding and restoring these monstrous, goofy blockages to the sun, to the water, to the natural part of the environment that makes Albany kind of an interesting, titillating place. Does that change that city's livability from D to B plus or A? Absolutely. And with A livability will come business, be it at a small scale or be it at a larger scale and just to the outside of the magic of the unfolding of that river.